Welcome back, everybody. Here's another kitchen counter I'm gonna do, and as you can see from the scratches and cut marks, this is why they're having me do this. And like always, wear your knee pads. I'm putting them on a mask right now because I'm spraying lacquer thinner. It was a little greasy, and lacquer thinner works pretty good. And I just have a little bit of lacquer thinner, not paint thinner, lacquer thinner, in a spray bottle, and just got to wipe it down. Now, this video isn't so much about the kitchen counter. I'm going to try and answer some of your questions. Obviously, I can't do it in one video. It'd probably take hours. So I'm going to break it down. And hopefully this will start getting things rolling if you're considering doing this kind of business. And if you are, please watch the videos, learn as much as you can, because as the weather gets nicer, people will start moving in and out of apartments, and contractors will start flipping more homes, and they want our business. I'm gonna get slammed. This is gonna be even harder to make videos as the weather gets nicer here. This week is daylight savings, so I have more daylight, more time to work. So let's start with a big question that I get all the time is, what kind of insurance do I need? So things are different in every state. Generally, if you're just gonna do refinishing for homeowners and house flippers, they will require that you have general liability. And what else do you need? And just a commercial, maybe commercial insurance for your vehicle. I have a general liability, I have commercial insurance for my vehicle, and I have a workman's comp insurance. Now, not everybody requires that, but because I do with the housing authority, they do require it. And for the simple reason is basically in case I bring anybody on to work with me and they get hurt, they're covered under my workman's comp. They can't be sued. As far as the commercial liability, I used to have it for a 2007 Corolla. Yes, I did this business out of a Corolla, but now I have a 2010 Highlander, Toyota Highlander. But even so, I have $1 million liability, commercial liability insurance on that. And the reason is the housing authority requires you to have so much coverage. Same thing, you might hurt somebody with your car, you might hit a kid, a child playing, these projects are highly congested, there's people walking around everywhere, pedestrians everywhere, so that way they can't go to the projects or the housing authority and say, the person you hired hurt me or hit my car, I'm gonna sue you, because obviously the housing authority is the bigger fish. They won't see me as the money maker. They'll see the housing authority as the money maker. So I'm covered, they're covered, and there's no worries. Now, another question I get is, what kind of paint do I use? So there's a few companies that I use, and I know this is probably not the answer that you want, but most of the companies now are pretty good about what product they have. They wouldn't stick around if they weren't that good. I mean, it's basically like saying, which hardware store would you go, Lowe's or Home Depot? And they're all good in their own way. Now, I will say that when you're shopping for a refinishing paint, make sure that the catalyst, which is the hardener, and the reducer come separate. First of all, for the shelf life. Without having the hardener in there, the shelf life is longer. And that's, these people try to sell you, and somebody did make a comment about that, about a wipe-on primer. I don't trust it. I mean, not that it does, I don't think it works. I just really, logically in my head, like to spray something on and wipe it with a rag, and that's strong enough to hold, that primer is strong enough or as strong as the primer that I spray, and a certain thickness of mils, it just doesn't seem like they would be the same. I could be wrong, but that's my take on that as far as wipe-on primers. And the etch. So the etch, also any of the companies that you that you might find online, and you can Google, there's a bunch of them. They should have an edge also. They actually might sell a kit. So if you want to just test it out, they might sell a kit. Now I know that's a bad word because Home Depot sells a kit, but no, this will be like, you know, like a 2-tub kit. It's just not, everything's in quarts instead of gallons, and you can try that out and see how you like it. You might not like it, you know, and this might not be the business for you, but this might be the job for you. This business pays well too. You might learn what I'm doing here just by watching my videos and get a job or apply for a job as a refinisher, and you can answer all the questions that boss has. I don't mean lie to them and say you have experience, but you're well aware of the process, which is hard to find. It's hard to find experienced people doing this. It was real easy for me to find a job once I had a chance and some guy taught me how to do this. After that, it was nothing to learn to get a job as a refinisher. And so another question I was asked was, do I use a non-slip because you can't afterwards? Now, yes, so a couple of the refinishing companies will sell like a little powder that you mix into the primer. And what I'll do is I'll mix literally like 4 ounces. I'll just mix primer and catalyst. I don't need the reducer. I'll mix it in a little Dixie cup, and I'll tape out a rectangle in the tub. If you freehand, it's gonna come out ugly. But if you tape it, even if it's crooked, the lines are so straight that it looks good. So I tape out a rectangle, pour the 4 ounces, it's only 4 ounces, and I use a small foam roller, and I roll it out, pull the tape off, wait for it to dry. I don't blow dry it like I normally blow dry a tub because I can blow the dust all over the tub. So I just wait for it to dry, and then I go on and I prime and I top coat paint the tub, and that's pretty much it. It's a permanent non-slip. And most people don't like it. I'll do it if I'm doing senior living or somebody handicapped. I'll do it. For the most part, people don't like it. So as far as the paint that I use a couple of companies. Resurface Solution is one of them. Hawk Labs is another. Cogent is another company that seems to pretty much have the same product. I think half of the refinishing manufacturers or companies online, they all get it from one manufacturer and they bottle it themselves because it, you know, they all pretty much smell kind of the same and they look kind of the same and they kind of work the same. There aren't that many companies that are completely different. And that's pretty much it. Like, as far as the tools, if you wait to the end of this video, or if you want, you can fast forward to the end of this video, you can see some of the tools that I use, and things that are necessary, that you don't have to keep buying, but it's where your biggest chunk of money to get this business started is going to come from. But it's not a continual purchase of things. Some things you do have to keep buying, like tape. I buy the 1.88 inch painter's tape, and it's really expensive now. When I first started this business, it was like, I think I would get it for less than $4 a roll, and now it's almost $8 a roll, 7 something at Walmart. So that's really gone up, just like everything else. But after this, you'll see the other things that I use and how pretty compact my system is. Now, I do want to talk about this. It's cool to see the kitchen counters being done, and actually that's the best part of my job. It's the part that everybody loves and happy to see done, and I'm happy to do. You're in a cleaner environment, but this isn't where the money is. The money is really in the tubs, and the main reason is because the tubs are necessary. Like, they can skip this. They really don't need the counter done. I mean, what you're seeing right now, yeah, that countertop was damaged, but I do countertops that don't look as bad, and it's something that they want. Now, if a tub is slightly rusted, they have to get it done. The HUD or I guess the government, when they do an inspection, they won't pass inspection if there's rust. So that's a necessity. And that's why the tubs, you're gonna make more money. There isn't a big line of kitchen counters. I mean, I have a bunch of contracts. That's why I have a lot of countertop videos. And it's a little bit easier to film these. But honestly, the tubs is where the money is. But it's not the best part of the work. I mean, you're in a bathroom, and you can imagine the germs. And in 2023, that's just something you don't want to be around too much. Yes, I've gotten the C word a couple times. I don't think it was from the bathrooms, because most of the apartments, 99% of the apartments are vacant. But I am around germs, so my health is being compromised every time I go in the bathroom. So this is pretty much it. I did this countertop. This is a small contract. As you can see, it's a small kitchen. It's 2 pieces. It's real tiny and actually tight. I got a nice little wide angle lens on the camera on my phone, so you get a better picture. But this is a $350 kitchen, and the reason why I do this cheap kitchen, I know in my previous video I said most of the jobs are $500. This is an old contract, and I usually get a tub or another kitchen to do on the same day. They usually hold out, and they'll give me 2 jobs to be able to keep that low price. So after I'm done here, I'll do another kitchen. So that'll be my $700 day. Now, I'm not trying to deceive anybody by posting how much I make per job. I know it all. I mean, use common sense. I'm not pocketing all that money. Obviously, I have expenses. So yeah, when I make my $1,000 a day, which is kind of close to average, between $7,000 and $1,000 a day, yeah, some of that has to go to insurance. The product is not cheap. The paint is not cheap. The supplies are not cheap. The plastic, 3M plastic with tape is between $10 and $12 a roll, depending on where I get it. The tape, like I said, is almost $8. Regular drop plastic is fine, but this just works faster, and my time is more valuable, so it's worth me paying $10 for that roll of plastic. I don't use a whole roll per job, so that's probably the biggest contributor to the price hike was the inflation, how things just jumped so bad. But as you can see, it was pretty easy. There was nothing really hard about that, and that's all my trash, and there it is. Yeah, it's nice to look at. I mean, every time a customer sees it, they freaking love it. I've done this in more than one state, and it's always been the same. Like, this is amazing. Once they do one, they're gonna do all of them. And I've done an intro job at an intro price, cheap price, just so they could see it, and they'll call me back. But anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I'm gonna show you my supplies. Okay, so here I have the paper machine with my tape, knee pads, and mask. That's a 3M mask you can get at any hardware store. Extension cord and drop cloths. And my 3 guns. For this, I'd use 3 different guns. For a tub, I use 2 different guns. There's my compressor. It's a Fuji 5-stage. And there's my ventilator and the hose that's connected to the ventilator to suck out the fumes while I'm spraying. And you have to use that because you will set off a smoke detector. And there's my bag and just other knickknacks like my spray bottle and, you know, scrapers and caulking and paper towels and garbage bags and razor blades and screwdrivers and wrenches and basic tools that you'll need for everyday stuff. And that's pretty much how I pack it, just like that. And that's it. And I'm on my way.